All right, we're back in session. We're going to go ahead and move on up to 11:30 here, and on from options. You're up.
My name is Dawn Gable. I'm with Options Domestic and Sexual Violence Services in West Kansas. We have offices in both Hayes and Colby, but we also have mobile reps who go to all 18 counties, including your county, at least twice a month, holding meetings, trainings, and office hours. And we amalgamate a report for every county in our area with the KBI every year. And so in front of you, I have your most recent report. The purple side is domestic violence. The blue side is sexual assault. So this is a mix of both legal actions and services that were provided by Options. On the domestic violence side, Graham County had 8 incidents were reported with the resulting of 1 arrest. We provided 24 services for survivors of domestic violence. Not everybody reports that to the law enforcement. We'd like to see that number a little better. It's weird to say you want more arrests, but arrests trigger help for not just the victim, but also the abuser gets psychological help, anger management training, whatever that might be, even medical attention if there's some reason that that person is not reacting normally, perhaps medically, that will happen. So that's something to look at. Statewide, the state average is 52% of those that are interacted with require arrest. There's an arrest made. One of our advocates was called out, probably at that arrest, as a on-scene crisis response. That's something that most people don't realize we do. When there's an actual legal situation, when the law enforcement's called, law enforcement can call us and we can be there as quickly as possible. We're pretty close from Hayes. To be with them, to offer those social services as law enforcement are there. We had something happen overnight where back over in Missouri in Lynn Summit, it was a domestic violence situation. And the law enforcement officer was shot, and then the perpetrator fled, and they caught them last night in Ellis. So, in order for that not to happen, we don't want our law enforcement people put in danger. It's one of the most dangerous situations they can get into is a domestic violence dispute. But what happened in Lee Summit yesterday? So that's one of the things. So we did attend the 1 arrest that was involved here. If you go over to the next, the far right-hand corner of the report, it talks about Options provided 12 nights of safe shelter for residents of Graham County. That if we do not put them in shelter in Hayes, we have a shelter house in Hayes, we shelter them in a hotel in your area. So we pay for that hotel. And Options is funded, most people don't realize, but Options is funded with Victims of Crime Act money, which is fines that are paid nationally and statewide. So our federal dollars and our state dollars we're funded with are from fines paid by criminals, not by tax dollars. But there is always a hole they leave off purpose, which is about 18% of our funding that we must come up with locally to prove that our local area is involved. And we did submit an appropriations request of $1,250 for your consideration. I believe you have that letter. So if you flip over to the blue side of your sheet, you'll see that 1 rape incident was reported to law enforcement in Graham County, but Options provided 68 services for sexual assault in Graham County. We are, go ahead.
So when you say 68 services, that is when are you coming in and how often? I mean,
It depends on the victim and the request. So this could be something that happened in their past. It could be an active assault that happened the day before.
so it's not necessary that police had make the conversation.
Right.
The person can call in.
We do a lot of marketing on social media. Some people just Google it. But we actually have a line item in our budget for making sure that folks in your county and the rest of Northwest Kansas know where to find us when they need us. Medical providers, doctors and nurses also know how to get a hold of us, or county health department knows how to get a hold of us, High Plains Mental Health. All of these people may have been the first contact before us, or we may have been the first contact for that person. They get to choose whether to file legal.
So we're way below the state average, like 1.5% is all, and the state average is 14.5
Let me reopen that and see where you're at.
on the sexual assault in Graham County. We got 68 and only one was reported.
Not 68 individual.
Oh, it could be
Provided
repeat.
service.
Okay.
Right,
Could all-
that would be really high for your population base to have 68
I was gonna say,
sexual
that
assaults.
seems like a lot.
Right. Those are services, we can say between 3 or 4 services per person, that's still high. It's still real
That's very
high.
high, yeah.
What it means is there may be, I have no idea.
Sure.
And we don't point fingers at law enforcement. We are more worried about the victims.
Absolutely.
But we want that law enforcement involvement, and we encourage that law enforcement involvement because as we said, it triggers other help for your community. And those can be, I'm not saying you had that many current sexual assaults that happened at that time. It could be that you have several sexual assault situations in the past that were triggered, perhaps a family got help, and you had maybe a person that did sexual assaults in a family for quite some time, and then you would have maybe 5 or 6 victims that came forward on historic assaults. So that can make that number go up too. It means that there are, if you divide that by 4, that many people in your county that receive services and help from us. The feds and the state of Kansas say we must be free, confidential, and we cannot make them file legal because it's less likely they'll seek help if we require that. And the more help that people get, that decreases the current in the future, interaction because they put boundaries up and hopefully get better. We want to work ourselves out of a job, This is not an easy subject, and it's not an easy time of it in anybody's life. But we want people to get help when they can. One of the things that we say in our side of the business is that person's worst day is our everyday. So we are here to help everybody in Northwest Kansas. Some of the things most people don't realize about options and other domestic violence organizations is domestic violence is violence that happens in the home. It's not just partner violence. And so if you have an elder person, which happens obviously in Northwest Kansas, more elderly, who's in distress or being abused or being held hostage for the Social Security check, we are involved with Area Agency on Aging to help them find shelter and help them. So we are very active in that area. And then the other area that a lot of people don't realize that we partner with is Kansas Children's Advocacy Center, which deals with children being sexually assaulted. They work 8 to 5. We are the shelter if a child needs shelter after hours or on the weekends, and they say the law enforcement pick them up, didn't have a shelter. We would shelter them in Hayes until the other agency opened up Monday, say. So there's not multiple 24-hour services in Northwest Kansas. Options is your 24-hour service for shelter when it involves domestic violence or sexual assault. And so we partner with any agency. We work hard with your health departments and your medical centers. Any other questions? Those are some good questions.
So as far as employee education, for you guys, what kind of training do you guys have that makes you this person?
Well, when you're an advocate, it's not a social cert, like you don't go to college for it, but we do have a certification process that our organization belongs to, that is a training program on trauma resiliency. One of the things that we know scientifically is that you're better at recovery from these awful traumatic things if you are educated around resiliency. So that's part of our education that we provide to our advocates, is teaching them how to help the victims be resilient and rise above, get the help they need with therapy, which we provide, and make a safety plan. Safety plans are a huge part. Many people don't leave, right? It takes 5 to 7 tries to leave a domestic violence situation. And we do require that they make a safety plan so that if the violence reoccurs, if they chose to go back, they must leave a plan on how to get out safe. Next. So we have a certification process that we actually paid for with a grant of which we train our advocates with.
So are your advocates volunteers then?
No, our advocates are employees. Right. We do have volunteers that do a lot of stuff with us, but our advocates are employees for confidentiality, professional ethics, privacy reasons.
Sure.
Yeah. But we were started by volunteers out here in Northwest Kansas who are actually housing people in their homes locally. And one of our board members, we were started in 1982. She is still on our board. Mary Porterfield from Goodland, and really had people. She was a teacher, and people stay with her. But they gathered together across Northwest Kansas and created Options in 1982.
Very cool.
Good question. Thank you. Any other questions?
So as far as like the $1,200, have we funded it before?
Did that come out of healthcare sales tax or?
Sure.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm good with that.
So at this point, it's not a budget thing, so we can just go ahead and
Yep.
say.
Yeah,
make the motion.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion to fund Options $150.
I'll second.
Yeah.
Thank-
Out of the healthcare sales tax.
Yes.
Thank you so much. If you have any other questions, we are a phone call away or an email away. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who was the second?
Jared.
Okay, Kendra, do you have any new business?
I don't think we have anything at this time.
Okay, I'll move to adjourn.
So, all right.
Thank you.